Welcome to this edition of the City Manager's Report. I am Jill Fraley, along with Pikeville City Manager Donovan Blackburn, as always. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jill.
It's been a while since we've seen each other. We have many things to talk about today. Lots going on in the city of Pikeville. Exciting things. Spring is almost here, and we're just going to get right to it today.
Jill, I'm excited, and like you say, yes, absolutely. There's a lot going on and a lot to cover, again, in the short allotted time that we have.
You know, I think that we could probably extend this to about 2 hours instead of just the hour that we have allotted, because there's so much to go over. And what a great thing that is to have so many things to talk about that are going on right here in the city of Pikeville.
Well, we talked about it time and time, Jill. I mean, really, when you look across the state of Kentucky, and, you know, I'm a member of the Kentucky League of Cities. There's 385 cities represented with the league. And when I go to these meetings and listen to these communities talk about not having projects and concerned about the economy, and so I smile from year to year.
I know you do.
Knowing where we're at. I mean, it's a great time to be part of our community.
It certainly is. One of the greatest things, and we don't talk a lot about it, but one of the most wonderful things that we have here in the city is the Pikeville Independent School System. You just cannot begin to say enough wonderful things about the leadership they have there with Jerry Green, the two principals they have, their school board, always putting the kids first and foremost in everything that they do.
Absolutely, Jill. I mean, you know, obviously I'm a graduate from Pikeville High School, and it was great times there.
And I worked for them recently.
You did?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, we have some connections to the system, not just as an entity here within our community.
Right.
We understand what this facility brings to the city of Pikeville, and that's not, again, slighting the county school system
Certainly
at all. The
not,
county school
no.
system has a great school system. Also, Mr. Wagner does an absolutely phenomenal job. But you know, we're in the city, and obviously the independent school system is the city school system, and you know, they just do absolutely a phenomenal job. And you know, our relationship with, as you said, the principals and Mr. Green is phenomenal. We work hand in hand on a lot of different projects because a lot of folks in the community really don't understand how our relationship does work.
Right. We're going to explain a little bit of that today.
We will.
We certainly will. One thing I want to get to is that the City Commission recently invited some groups from Pikeville High School and the junior high to visit a commission meeting and honor them for their accomplishments. And I know you have some pictures that you want to share with our viewers. So let's talk about why they were being honored, first of all.
Well, you know, it's important. Growing up and playing sports, I played baseball, a little bit of baseball and football. And it builds so much character in a child.
Absolutely.
I mean, it teaches you a lot about life. Education, you know, no mistakes about it. Education is important. And obviously, the Pikeville Independent School System is ranked as one of the best in the state of Kentucky. They do an absolutely phenomenal job. And again, back to the relationship part of it, and we'll drill this down a little bit more here in a minute, but you know, the city's role with the independent school system evolves around the sports complexes. And we have great state-of-the-art complexes. And in conjunction with the independent school system having great kids, a great class of kids, and great programs, they have been very, very accomplished this year in their sports programs. So with that said, the city commission, since that we manage and operate most of the outdoor, especially facilities, wanted to honor these kids in their accomplishment, because it's important not only in building character and our future leaders in our community, and what has helped make our commission what they are today. Because again, you had Gene Davis, who's obviously infamous in the area over baseball and as a football coach and as a teacher. Commissioner Barry Cheney played football. Commissioner Jimmy Carter played football. Mayor Frank Justice played football. And other sports as well, but and you know, golf and baseball. So each one of them has played various sports, and it helped mold us into the leaders that we are today. So it's important to have not only a quality school system with a great educational system, but it's also important to have good sports complexes and facilities, because when you grow up, the learning that you have stays with you forever. But that hole-in-one or that touchdown or that winning, you know, that's things that you live through the rest of your life. And it taught you to lose gracefully, and it taught you to win and be graceful as well. So, you know, with all that said, the independent school system has had a phenomenal year this year and accomplishments in the sports programs. So the commission has invited several of those programs up, and I thought it would be a great opportunity to share some of those accomplishments with the community.
Certainly. So who do we have first?
Let's see.
This
is the golf team.
Golf team, yeah.
Who again had a absolutely outstanding performance this year. had won several tournaments and several accomplishments. So again, what you see is the commission in the background with the golf team and the coaching staff in the forefront holding the proclamation. And what the commission has done with each one of these groups is they have acknowledged not only their accomplishment through awarding a proclamation at the commission meeting, but they presented each student with a letter, hand-signed letter from the mayor, a copy of the proclamation for their portfolio, so that as they go on to college, it will help obviously through their portfolio, building their portfolio. But also they gave them a $20 gift certificate to Texas Roadhouse.
How wonderful.
So it's a great way to acknowledge good accomplishment and reward, and tell them that we're appreciative and that you're making a great name across the state of Kentucky regarding our system, because it's not just Pikeville Independent School System, and the Pikeville Independent School System is in the city of Pikeville. So anytime Pikeville's announced, it's a good marketing opportunity for the community, and we've been shown in a great light all across the state. So.
Yeah. They're an excellent golf team too. Let me just say, it's amazing. Now this would be the high school varsity basketball team.
This is the basketball team, and again had great performance this year. And again, the same story. The commission honored the coaches and the players in the same fashion.
This would have to be the football team.
This is the football team, and again a large group. Had again an outstanding, stellar year.
They certainly did. So proud of those guys.
Very, very, very proud. It was fun to watch. But again, great accomplishments, and again, the commission sitting and the team and the coaching staff is encompassed around them. This is the junior high football program,
team,
which again had a great accomplished year as champions, and the commission actually went outside on a dark commission meeting and took these pictures.
I will say this about those guys right there. They're so fun to watch. I have several friends who have young men who play for that team. There's going to be a long line of tradition coming up through the high school ranks with this group of young men.
There is absolutely no doubt. These are a group of not only great performers on the field, but very, very polite,
good kids,
intelligent, good kids that we're going to see some great things from them.
Fantastic coaching staff too.
Absolutely. And of course, this is the girls junior high basketball team as well. So again, a great year. Again, a championship season. And it was it's Jill. It's always nice to have I guess be part of the community and have these meetings and have the public come out. But to have the youth come to a city commission meeting, be able to sit in and honor them and let them participate, it just really makes you understand why you're doing this job.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. It makes it all worthwhile to see those kids and to be able to have those student athletes attend your meetings. And I know that they are so appreciative, as well as their coaching staff. And the one thing about the sports world there is that it does instill a lot of character, a lot of discipline, and it creates really well-rounded individuals. So kudos to everybody that's there. But I know this Monday, coming up next week at the commission meeting, another whole group of students.
We do. We've got the sixth grade basketball team, which again was named the county champions, and were state tournament champions also in that program. So again, worthy of being recognized.
Right, and talk about a feeder into the varsity system.
Absolutely.
My goodness, if you haven't had the opportunity to see these kids play, wow.
Well, it's extremely exciting, and of course I keep getting ahead of myself talking about the complexes. I mean, it takes, again, good character, good athletic kids, good coaching staff, and good complexes as a winning formula to produce a winning team. And again, the independent school system's done an absolutely phenomenal job. And then, of course, the Pikeville Junior High School cheerleading just won with championships for the Pike County tournament also. Was named as the champions of the Pike County tournament also. So, and again, I was looking at the proclamation that I wrote last week, and the accomplishment of this program is phenomenal.
It
Jill.
is the winningest program the cheerleading program. They actually came in 6th at their national competition in Disney World last week, which is just, if you've never seen anything like that, will blow your mind, just the amount of talent that is there. And our girls compete on a national level so well that it's just, it's amazing.
Well, and again, I think there was 6 or 7 different, they either won the championship, they placed 3rd, they placed 6th, and then again winning the county. So again, just a great accomplishment, have a great program, great coaching staff.
Lisa Wheeler is phenomenal.
Lisa is phenomenal, absolutely
yes, she is.
Phenomenal.
And they start from the ground up. When I worked for the independent school system, I had the opportunity to coach their little itty bitties. They're called the Twinkles, and then going up into AAU. But it's just, it's really nice to see how they develop and how quickly they catch on, and the sense of pride that they have in their team and in themselves too.
Well, that's a good point, because then it flows over to creating pride in the community.
Absolutely.
And again, it's no other way to reward that than to bring them before the public.
Yeah.
And the commission made them special ambassadors of the city. We named various months, and I think Jerry Green, Mr. Green had made a comment not too long ago that the city was about out of months, because each month we've named as Panther Month for the city of Pikeville.
Right.
And because of all the winning programs, I think we're about out of months for the year. But which is
we'll
a great
find
thing.
a way. It's
We'll,
okay.
We'll squeeze it in one way or the other.
Yeah.
And back to the sports complexes, one of the things, Jill, that Mayor Hamley was his vision. That Mayor Hamley was a very educated man. He was a doctor, obviously, and very, very smart, very intelligent. And his belief is that the independent school system, or was when he was mayor, needed to put money into education, spend their money on education, and the city would then absorb the cost of the sports complexes. So it gave the school system more money to be able to invest in again, and they've done a great job of that, and again, are well known throughout the state. And so the city has traditionally taken on the softball fields, the baseball fields, the football fields, the soccer fields, anything outdoor, the track, the cross-country trails, the tennis courts. All those things are actually owned and operated by the city. The university, we have a users agreement with the University of Pikeville and with the Pikeville Independent School System. They pay us $20,000 a year is all that they pay. Our light bill is probably about 10 times that amount.
I was going to say it's a little bit more than that.
It is. But under our contract with UMG, Utility Management Group, actually does the maintenance, the cleaning of the field. They come in before the events and after the events and do a lot of the cleanup. The fire department, the police department police the events. We offer the ambulance service there during various sports activities. So there's a lot of commitment on behalf of the city. Now I was sitting down this morning when I was thinking about this show, and again, time kind of escapes you, and you don't realize the kind of investment, because again, I give great kudos to this commission, not only for acknowledging great performance and wanting this community to know that we've got star students and star athletes in the community, but also they have graciously invested dollars in those complexes so that these kids would have the absolute best and state-of-the-art of equipment. And what I found is just at the Bob Amos Sports Complex, of course, and I'll talk about actually Bob Amos and Hamley Athletic at the same time, because that's where all these facilities are located. But this commission put down a new surface on the track, in which we're getting ready to update again. It was a couple of years ago, because with all the wear and tear around the track, there's a compound that you go up and roll it down, and then you paint the numbers back on. But it wears off because of all the traffic on it. Wears off fairly frequent. They've relocated the volleyball courts and the basketball courts down to the lower level. We're getting ready to construct some new sand volleyball courts, but we went from 2 basketball courts to 4. In doing so, we were able to expand the tennis courts to 2 additional tennis courts, which gave the university and the school system the opportunity of hosting tournaments now.
Right.
So, and then also we went in and spent well over $130,000, I think it was, to resurface the tennis courts, and then put the new paint coats, and this is a special type of paint coat on that. So all that was done year before last. It was done right after, a matter of fact, the July flooding. We spent over $1 million on the new soccer complex that was just recently completed last year, and that includes new field lights, bleachers, concession stands, bathhouses, so they're and locker rooms. So over $1 million towards the soccer complex. We're getting ready this year. We're looking at injecting chrome rubber onto the field, so it gives it more elasticity, and it allows the and it allows the grass to stay greener earlier and later in the season. You get about 4 to 6 extra weeks of greenery on your field.
My goodness.
So it actually,
it's so involved, isn't it?
People would not know the half of it. We spent $40,000 for just a type of lawnmower you have to use on the Bermuda grass. The chemicals that have to go on there to make sure, again, because of the kids being on the field, there's certain chemical mixtures. The watering system that has to go on in order to get this Bermuda so that other grass doesn't take it over. And that's just one field. The way that you have to fluff, and again, we spent $800,000 on a new professional turf 2 years ago on at the Hamley complex.
Yes.
And the way that you have to maintain that field is very, very labor intensified, and UMG does a great job of that. We also put a new grass. Just the small things, putting a new grass fence on the outfield up against the bleachers, because when the baseball team is playing, you want to be able to see where it stops, and you don't want to see through a fence. So there was a an investment there. We put, with the work and help of Community Trust, we put a new baseball scoreboard, new football scoreboard down at the football complex, a new $180,000 Musco lighting system, which in turn saves electricity, but it was the candle light, which is how they measure this, is much greater and more intense. Upgraded completely to new girls softball complex, new seats for the baseball team, a new sound system, new field goals, a new end zone. And all this has been done just, again, over the last few years by this commission. So you've got several $1 million of investments that's being paid for either through grants, and we have worked with our legislators. Some of this was done by coal severance, but a lot of it was done out of the general fund, and we found other grant money to do this as well. But a lot of it was just through major investment, because again, the commission understands that the importance of these students, and they are our future. And this is the debate that's been going on with UPike right now about education. Mm-hmm. But we also understand, to keep our young people here, we have to give them good things to do, keep them healthy, give them activities, help build their character, and then educate them. And if we do that, then we will be successful. And I think that our community and our growth is a good example of that.
Well, I couldn't agree more. And if you've ever been down to the Hamlin Complex and you've actually seen this work and you've seen all the efforts that have been put into it, it's really something. It speaks for itself. I don't know any other place that you can go to that I've been, and I've been to several of these places, that looks like it does, that offers the activities that it does. And when you come in here, you feel like you're almost coming to, I know the University of Pikeville uses it, but you feel like you're coming to a collegiate field, both baseball and softball and football.
And you hit the nail on the head. They are considered collegiate type fields. Mm-hmm. By definition. We don't let just anybody play on the fields, because of the usage, because they're very expensive. Mm-hmm. The city, we spend over $1 million a year on our park system, and that includes the fields. It's about $1.2 million, I believe. So I mean, it is a cost to the community, but there's great dividends, and I'm able to show you what those dividends are. So it is, and I appreciate you saying what you said, because a lot of folks don't realize once the game's over and they leave the field, all the work that goes into keeping the fields maintained and fluffed, and because there's a lot of things we have to do because of the warranty on these things, because they're very expensive. Well,
it's a wonderful place, and I encourage everyone to visit some activity going on at that complex, because it's so nice. Now, someone you also recently had the chance to visit with are the Scouts in our area.
Yes, we had a local Scout troop at our last meeting from Pikeville that. Actually, Pat Hall from up at the radio station brought the
very
trip
involved.
Down.
Her and Hubie, I'm telling you what, they just do a phenomenal job with these young men.
My next door neighbor Garland, his son was acknowledged and is working on some special. And again, I'm losing the words here because of what they call them.
But there's so much that they do. I mean, it's hard to keep up with everything. But the one thing that they instill in these young men, and when they start from such a young age, and you still see them now in junior high and high school participating, just kind of it makes you appreciate what the efforts that are put into that group.
Well, again, it's leadership. I was a Cub Scout and Boy Scout growing up, and it instills a lot of traits and leadership, and you get to do a lot of fun things, and like the sports programs. So, I mean, it was an honor having them as part of the community. They were working on a merit badge, and part of their badge is attending a governmental, understanding how government works. So they came last week and spent the whole commission meeting with us, and got to hear some lively debating and some really unique topics. So it's always great, again, when you get the youth involved and let them be part of our process, and we get to hear from them and see what they're doing, and then we get to acknowledge their accomplishments. So, and the commission gracefully each one of them took a minute and talked about their involvement in the Scouts, and congratulated these young men on absolutely great performance. So it's an honor.
Yeah, the one thing I learned about working with children for so long is that they have some of the most phenomenal ideas, things that our minds just can't get around with. They have a vision, and when you're able to take their vision and really apply it to a project, it's very worthwhile.
Well, my wife says frequently that we learn more out of the mouth of babes than we do out of the mouth of those that are in these more senior positions. So, and I tend to agree with that, because they will tell you, they will set it straight for you in terms that we can understand.
It's called brutal honesty. Brutal honesty. Love the kids though. So congratulations to you all, and just to commend you for having those groups there and really recognizing their talents, because I don't think that happens everywhere, and I'm so appreciative that it happens here in our community. Well, so thank you.
We're happy to do it.
Something else we want to hit on, we always talk about the new developments going on in our area, because we are growing by leaps and bounds. It seems like every couple of weeks when we talk, I find out new things that I get get so excited about. So the first one, we're going to talk about a sewer plant and grant announcement today that you're really excited about.
Well, I really am, and it's I won't say a bittersweet because it's not. It is a part of growth, and that, you know, first of all, I'm absolutely ecstatic to announce that in working with Karen Kelly, who was, a lot of folks around the area know her as Karen Ingle. She was over the Congressman Rogers the Pride program.
Yes.
But I've had the opportunity over the last couple of weeks to work with Karen and Congressman Rogers' office on a grant application that we submitted. And the purpose of it is what we'll talk about here in a second, is the city sewer plant. But I'm very happy to announce that we have been awarded a $1 million grant for the design specs for the new sewer plant. And again, the benefit of this is these are dollars that will not be coming out of the general fund or out of the legislative session. These are dollars that comes through the federal government, through the Army Corps of Engineers, some funding that was available. So it was a quick grant, I'll say. I basically wrote a letter 1 week, and through the hard work of Congressman Rogers' office and Karen, within 2 weeks' time, we were acknowledged that we would be the recipient of this grant. So it's very important for the next issue that we're going to get into. This Monday night is we have a work session with the City Commission coming up, which is the 27th. I forget we're recording. So on February 27th is our next commission meeting, and we will be discussing in a work session that will start at 4:30, from 4:30 till 6, our sewer plant, our current sewer plant. And you know, it's not a fun topic to talk about,
no,
but it's
a necessary topic.
It is necessary and very important because it is a major part of infrastructure. You know, the EPA has put so many restrictions because of the Clean Water Act upon what you can and can't do with sanitary sewer. And so there's a lot of things that municipalities are required to do and things that we have to look at. The problem is, and I won't say problem, it's a great problem to have. And I applaud this commission because they have really taken this seriously, and they've been working their due diligence for the past year on this one item. And the community may recall, if you look back through our past minutes, we hired a company called Vaughn and Melton to do a study looking at the city sewer plant. Recently, I met 2 weeks ago with a representative through the Division of Water. And what's happened is in earlier years, 2004, when I started with the city, we were running we have a 2 million gallon sewer plant, and we were running about 700,000 gallons. And so we had plenty of capacity to grow into, understanding that projection of growth was going to cover about 10 to 15 years. Well, it came a little earlier than we expected because the city has grown so exponentially. Right. Which is a great problem to have because, again, if you look at our occupational tax, which is a great indicator of business, you can see to where in 2004 we were only generating a little bit less than $4 million in occupational tax. Now we're generating over $7 million. So the growth is almost 100%. So when you look at the sewer plant and what this commission did was, which we were congratulated by several agencies in Frankfurt, the Division of Water was one that came forth and said they cannot believe because they never saw. I won't say they never saw. They don't see frequently commissions. It's not common. It's not common. Good way to put it. Cities, counties, and state agencies all working towards the same common goal. And what the city was able to do is we were able to work with the county. We were able to work with Floyd County. We were able to work with the state in the city accepting sewer and constructing additional sewer in places like Cowpen and Mullins Addition, Coal Run. So these are areas outside of the city of Pikeville, but we were able to take on that additional flow, which wasn't a substantial amount of flow, but it was still flow. We also did a $5.5 million project over, it's going to be close to 350 homes on Island Creek, probably closer to 400 by the time you take in all the trailer courts into consideration. So in conjunction with the areas that we picked up, we also went into areas like Island Creek towards Marion's Branch, and we picked up those new lines. So the City Commission has invested over the last 4 years over $15 million in new infrastructure, providing sewer to new customers, along with building infrastructure so that we could support this industrial growth that we have. So what has transpired over the last 8 years is that we're getting close to the 90% capacity on a plant, and understanding that this commission that's here took over a sewer plant that was over 30, when the sewer plant that we currently have, which is a 2 million gallon capacity plant, it was a plant that was over 30 years, it's over 30 years old and was a used plant. So the city commission at that time, and it was a good decision to make. I mean, because it was, we've got 12, 14, whatever more years on the plant now. But at the time, it was a good decision. But currently what we have is a plant that's over 30 years old, that was used at the time that we got it, that we received it, and that we're running close to 90% capacity. So there is a need to expand the plant, to upgrade the plant. And this commission is working diligently to do that. So, I applaud them. And one of the ways that we've done that is that we've commissioned a meeting with the Division of Water where we will create what they call a 201 facility plan. And what that is basically it's telling the Division of Water and telling the EPA what the city plans on doing, understanding that we're getting close to capacity on what our existing plan is. Because these plants do not come cheap, Jill, when you build them, obviously. I mean, they're not, I mean, you're talking about a major investment.
Right, it is.
But it's an investment for the community, because what happens is on a 2 million gallon plant, taking into consideration what this commission has done over the last 2 years, they have worked, and we'll say over the last 3 or 4 years, they brought the new Hampton Inn downtown. We did a property swap, we did a feasibility study, we brought the Hampton Inn. We were the conduit for the bonds for the $100 million for the new hospital expansion. The city commission was the conduit for the bonds for the medical school. I sit on the project development board for the new judicial center. We've got a new hotel we're going to talk about here in just a second that's getting ready to break ground next week. And there is several other large projects, but all those projects are massive 90, 100,000 square foot buildings that are adding a tremendous amount of flow to the system. But what they're also doing is creating a lot of new jobs,
That's exactly
a lot of
right.
new demand, a lot of new services. So what the commission has done is by working a comprehensive plan and being very visionary, they've created unprecedented growth in this community that we've never seen. We had a 10% increase in population over the last 10 years, where other communities throughout the state, most of the communities, especially in East Kentucky, has had decreases. We've had increases in occupational tax. We've had increases in services. We've had increases in jobs. We've got new retail development coming. I mean, there's just so much that's gone on that has taken up a lot of that capacity. So the necessity to move forward on what they call a 201 facility plan is to let the EPA know and the Division of Water to know that we're going to spend about $890,000 to develop a shovel-ready project to build, either expand the existing plant or build a new plant. And the way that we can do that is by this grant announcement. So it costs the taxpayers nothing. It doesn't impact your rates. One of the beauties that we're working on right now is that what this commission is doing is we have about $9.5 million in past bonds. And bonds are a good thing. I was just contacted by someone today and said, well, why would the city bond money? Bonds are a great thing. The nice thing about bonds is that allows you to take federal or state dollars at a 1% or 2% rate, so it's free money. You can take those dollars and invest it into something and get the return back on it, and you don't pay anything extra than what the principal amount is, other than 1 or 2%. So what we're looking at doing is we've got some bonds that maturity dates are 6, 7, 8 years down the road, and we have enough in those reserved accounts to look at paying off a lot of those bonds, which will lower our debt service, so that as we look at building a new plant, we need to get the design done first, which is what the commission will vote on Monday. We've got the grant already in place, which is wonderful. But once we get the project ready, then we can take that shovel-ready project and go to the federal government, go to other state and federal, and get funding grants to hopefully be able to pay for the majority of the sewer plant. We have already went down last week and met with Senator Jones and Representative Combs and Representative Hall. They've already, Representative Combs already has $1 million committed in CDBG, Community Development Block Grant. We're looking at some coal severance matching dollars. So we've not even got the thing designed yet. We've already got about $3 million in commitments to pay for the development. The benefit of that is by building a new plant, now you lower the cost, the operational cost of the existing plant, because you've got new components that are under warranty. So the city saves even more money that will be able to go back into the cost of constructing the plant. So what this commission should be able to do is they took something that was 30 years old, that had a lot of age and a lot of issues with it. They built this city, they built the economy, and they're able to hopefully construct a new plant to where we'll have very, very little impact on rates. but have a major impact on future development because the new plant will look out 20 years in advance. So it's a very complex issue. It's going to be you're going to see it in the press, I'm sure, after this coming meeting Monday. So I wanted a little opportunity to kind of explain it because it's probably, again, one of the biggest issues that I've dealt with in the 8 years that I've been city manager.
Very exciting. Now, the one thing you mentioned just a few moments ago is the new hotel that's going to break ground next week. And we have the first picture of that, I'm told.
Here you go.
Look at that. Will you just look at that?
This is absolutely a phenomenal.
It really is.
It's going to be for a lot of different reasons. One, Jill, is this gives us another 120 rooms, which brings 250 rooms downtown. So when you're talking about the Expo Center being able to host conferences, this allows us to do that.
Right, takes care of it. It has a restaurant too, am I right?
It has a restaurant. It has a 5,000 square foot penthouse in it. The company's name that's actually building this is Bailey Hotels 2. Bailey Hotels 1 owns the Hampton Inn, operates the Hampton Inn. A company by the name of H&W Management Group out of a guy by the name of Don Howard out of Lexington is the guy that manages, his company manages the hotel for Bailey Hotel. But this, if you're just to get you focused on where you're at, I guess, this is traveling down the street that you're looking at is the boulevard. The side street, the grassy area on the right is where the library currently sits, and Elm Street is a little street that runs to the right-hand side. So it kind of L's, so it'll fill in. The swimming pool is part of the Hampton Inn, which you can look down towards the black area on the bottom. So it'll butt right up against the Hampton Inn swimming pool, come down the street, L back towards College Street. So it's a Hilton Garden Inn, which is a great flag name.
Wonderful.
And what the city did a feasibility study, and again, what was the city commission's role in this was several different facets. One is we brought the infrastructure to the property. We worked on a parking agreement with the hotel. In order to attract them here, we put rerouted the street on the back end where the alleyway for them. And there's several other things, not to bore you with the details, that the commission did, because what the city did an updated feasibility study last year on hotels, and what it shows is that there was such a demand that the new hotel will impact the existing hotels, would only enhance them. It creates Pikeville as more of a destination location, because when you have a conference, if you have 300 people, you've got 50 people that need to stay elsewhere. So it will still create a higher demand for the other local hotels. It services a need downtown for the hospital, the university, the Expo Center to continue to grow while enhancing the opportunities for the outlining hotels as well. So it's a great project.
It is. It's very exciting. And as I was traveling down Hambley just a couple of days ago, I saw where they were making preparations, and I thought, I don't know what the time frame is to have it finished, but what I do know is it's not going to be very, very long, and that the vision that I had of it being there in our downtown it just makes you appreciate everything that the commission does and our leadership does, because then as soon as you get past the Hampton Inn, you look over at our new medical school. And I just think, wow, the growth that I've seen in the 10 years that I've lived here is just phenomenal. And I know by talking to you and by being in the field that I'm in now that it's just going to grow and grow and grow and grow.
It is. I could tell you we've got numerous other projects. Obviously, you're looking at just the Hampton Inn is going to restart. You got the Jenny Wiley Theater is going to restart. You got 2 big buildings downtown under construction. You got 2 new restaurants downtown. A lot going on at the Expo Center, which we're going to have a guest here in a minute to talk about some of those things.
Exciting events too.
There's a lot again, just a whole lot going on.
Yeah, that's downtown. But let's quickly update everyone on our retail development project. Everywhere I go, when they say, "Oh, I saw you and Donovan talking about this," or they've heard about certain things. The big thing that the last time that we did a show that we talked about was the anchor stores that might be coming in. I know you're in a confidentiality agreement with one of them. The other one has committed. Everybody has said to me, "You know what that is?" And I said, "No, I promise I don't." I just know that it's an exciting time and that we are really going to benefit from the hard work of many people.
It is, and again, it's probably not only is it the most asked question out in the public, it's also the most pressured question that I get from this commission, because they are gung-ho to bring in more national brand names. Again, we have addressed, medical, we've addressed legal, we have addressed education, we have addressed infrastructure needs. We've addressed restaurant needs, which was part of the city's comprehensive plan that we're getting ready to update. But the one issue that we really need to focus on again is additional retail shopping.
Right.
Because when you bring these college kids in, not just for the college kids, but for us locally.
Absolutely.
My wife doesn't want to go to, she goes to Lexington sometimes to shop at Charleston, Lexington, Kingsport. We want to keep those dollars here at home.
Absolutely.
So we've, again, Realty Link, I spoke with Neil Wilson last week. The project is still moving forward. He has, again, Jill, I can't release the names, as you said.
I know.
And would love to, but we're definitely under a confidentiality agreement. And we hope the public understands that if we disclose them, then it actually jeopardizes the deal.
Absolutely.
We definitely don't want to do that. But the holdup right now, as I explained in the last project, is the post office. It's not intentional. The post office, being a federal agency, they have a lot of policies and procedures that they have to follow. Sure. I'm happy to announce, I received an email yesterday and another one this morning from their legal department that they almost have the contract completed, that I should have it by hopefully the end of this week, first of next week, that they've been working on it for the last 4 or 5 days. So once the contract is signed, then the due diligence process will start. But the deal is then formulated. So what that allows the developer to do is to go out and definitely get the letters of either commitment from the retailers, because the retailers won't sign until they know that the property is available. Well, we have our part of the property available, but to make the development work, it has to include the post office property also.
Right.
And we have commitments from the post office, and they're working diligently to try to get us the agreement. But they've had other priorities and a lot of other things. If you listen to the national media, they've got some financial issues and some other things that they're dealing with. But they are committed to this project. And again, I think Congressman Rogers' office has also been involved with us on working with the post office on a national level. So things are moving forward very rapidly, and I think we'll have an agreement hopefully by the next show to announce.
Well, that's exciting. Very exciting. A lot of people are interested in that, and we will certainly long for the day that we get to make those announcements. Now, coming up in just a little bit, we're going to have a special guest join us, Samantha Rogers from the Artisan Center. She works closely with you as well. She is going to join us to talk about all the great things that the Expo Center is bringing in, and then some very exciting events happening from our Artisan Center.
Absolutely. We've got a tremendous amount of events going on, and one thing I'll mention before we bring Sam on is our paintball. We had a weekend event, and this all flows in together with what we're going to talk about with Samantha. But we just completed our first paintball tournament up. The city has a new paintball arena up at the behind the YMCA, which is what you see a picture of. All the components there are competitive, a competitive field. Sean Cochran, who takes care of the park system up there, the U-Pike, we worked with them on a tournament, had an absolutely phenomenal turnout for the tournament this past Saturday. We urge the community to watch the papers, because we're going to have more and more tournaments. We've got so many interested groups outside this community that will be coming in, and this will bring in a lot of different groups from all over the state that will compete. So again, another great opportunity.
That's the thing that's on my bucket list, is paintball.
It's a lot of fun. Having two, which are not teenage boys anymore. I got a 25 and 26-year-old. But when they were growing up, they were really heavy into paintball, and it was a lot of fun. We've already, and I won't go into any more detail because we talked about during the last show, but the other thing is the horse trail. As we mentioned, and the city is a recipient of a $160,000 grant. What you see pictured now is the First Lady of the state of Kentucky with Commissioner Barry Cheney and the city's grant director Melanie Stevens. You also have the Commissioner of Department of Local Government, Tony Weidler, there. Commissioner Barry Cheney went down last week and met with the First Lady at the Governor's Mansion to have the official check presentation. The one thing that I would, Commissioner Cheney's done an absolutely great job, and he went and met at the Kentucky League of Cities. He went and had a meeting with the governor and has been very involved in Frankfort in politics. So not only has he been meeting with the governor and forming a great relationship, and a lot of the reason why I think we're getting more and more grants, because the governor is really committed to Eastern Kentucky and helping us. And we've received numerous grants through DLG and through Tony's, Commissioner Weidler's office. But Barry had met 2 weeks ago with the governor. While he was in Frankfort, he met during the same period with Representative Combs and Senator Jones. So Commissioner Cheney has been very involved, and the fruits of his labor is he's able to bring back a big check. I told him not to go through the drive-through with that at the bank.
Really, $100,000 is nothing to sneeze at,
It's not. It really isn't. So I mean, I'm really excited about the accomplishment that we've had with the trail system and our water system, and there's a lot of things that will be announced here very soon. And before we get to go into our break, the other thing that Sean Cochran, talking about our school system, is that Sean has partnered with Pikeville Independent School System, and what we're doing is we're offering scholarships to some of their IT department there, and they're going to actually develop our website for us for the park system. So I thought it was a great marriage to offer them some scholarship dollars,
Right.
money that the city would have spent on somebody professional, but it gets these students and these kids, to your point earlier, that know a whole lot more about these things than we do. So we're going to employ some student base in the independent school
Fantastic.
system, form another relationship, and grow into our next phase. So a lot going on.
A lot going on, and we will take a break right now. When we come back, we will be joined by Samantha Rogers from the Artisan Center. Stay right there. And welcome back to this edition of the City Manager's Report. Donovan Blackburn, Jill Fraley, and we are now joined by Samantha Rogers. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for
Samantha
having me.
is the director of the Artisan Center, which we are going to talk a lot about coming up. Some wonderful, exciting things going on there. But the one thing that we want to talk about first in the time that we have left are all of the events that are coming to the Expo Center and to our town. I mean, I can just think of wrestling, Eric Church, Brantley Gilbert, Sugarland. Are you kidding me? The Drillers. And then you have everything else that kind of falls into place when those are going to be here.
Well, there was an article in the local paper, in the News Express, this weekend, an editorial talking about the cultural boom in downtown.
Right.
And it was very well written, and in conjunction, a lot of different components have come together, Jill, over the last 2 years. The city's forming the City Tourism Commission. The Tourism Commission working directly with Jesse Bolin as our director, working with the Main Street program. The Main Street program now in tourism working with the Artisan Alliance. The city's commitment last year of taking over the Expo Center, and as you just read, this is the outcome. And it's, again, not to take full credit, because SMG's done a wonderful job. What they didn't have was the funding to be able to go out to pull some of these larger names and these larger acts in. Last year, or the year before last, I think there was about 170,000 people that went through the Expo this year. Past year, 210,000. We had more events, more activities, and as you can see by the lineup, having the city's involvement and having the commission committing to the success of the venue is a tremendous economic boom, because those are those people that are coming and eating in our restaurants and getting gas, and so it's got a great economic opportunity as well as its cost of life.
Right.
So it has been a great, as you just mentioned, a great opportunity for the community to grow downtown. And what we see happening across the entire nation is that most rural communities, downtowns, are drying up, and people are fooling themselves if they think they're going to come back. You're not going to get another G.C. Murphy's or Hobbs or Gibson's or those stores we grew up with in downtown. What you see downtown are bookstores and cafes and those type of things in rural communities. Now in metro markets like Lexington, Louisville, yeah, you'll get some of that, but in rural communities, what they're transforming into is more of an arts and entertainment type communities. And then if you bring arts and entertainment downtown, then you get the little, again, the shops like Mickey's that has been down there and has been so phenomenally, it's done great, and Mickey's done a great job as an icon of the community and has stuck it out with the community. But we owe it to the Mickey's to be able to build business downtown, not just down where Walmart and Lowe's and all that is, but to build business downtown. And we're able to do that now with the influx in the Expo Center, the hotel we just talked about, the university's growth with Jenny Wiley Theater, and as you saw, just by all the great names. So, and we have, I'd be remiss to say this, but we've got a great relationship also with the county tourism. The county tourism comes in with city tourism on several projects, and we work hand in hand. We've got a great relationship with Tony, and of course my counterpart, I'm the chairman of the Tourism Commission, but Judy Patton, who's the chairman of the county tourism. I love Judy to death. We're best of friends. My traveling companion to China. But it's been a great relationship, and because of that, we see a lot of great activities. And another, not only the things that you announced, but another one that we were talking about off camera just a moment ago is the new kickoff to the Road of Fame.
I can't wait for this.
This is great. And again, this has come all about a year or so ago. Sandy Runyon with the Area Development District contacted me, and of course the Fair Board, and Sandy does a great job for the region, but she was working with some of the local folks down around Paintsville, Prestonsburg, and they came up with this concept with a gentleman out of Nashville. So what the concept is, and we've got several partners in a 4 or 5, I can't remember, county area, that it's an American Idol theme. And what on the screen, it received great notoriety in the News Express this past week. And of course, on the screen, you'll see Steve St. John, who's on the fair board, and also Jesse Bolin and the Road to Fame is, again, an American Idol here locally. And what happens is that talent from just those counties will be able to come to different venues. The East Kentucky Expo Center is actually kicking that off on, I can't remember the date.
Around 1st of March?
It is.
Through the 15th at the Expo Center?
I believe you're right.
That's what I have on my paper.
You are right. I just didn't go the next page over.
Just switch the page, yeah.
I forgot I had 2 pages, Jill.
The first round is March 15th at the Expo
Thank you
Center.
for saving me.
No problem. Teamwork.
But it is, that's why you're here. You're here to mop up after me. Thank you. I say that in jest. You do a wonderful job. The winner of this contest, when it's all through all of its rounds, will be a recipient of a $25,000 career development and coaching contract. So it's a great way for, again, cities and tourism commissions and various counties to all work together promoting the talent of our region. And the US 23 has produced many great talents, too many for me to name. But
oh, it could go on and on and on.
And so we're hoping to create the next major talent through this program. So everybody has pulled their money together, and it's a great new exciting event. And again, it will kick off at the Expo Center. Along with, you mentioned, the drillers are getting ready to kick off, and not only all the great entertainment. So I'm really excited because the overall focus with what the article says, as Sam starts talking about her projects, is the commission empowered me, I guess, in saying that what we want to do with the downtown area is not only it's supporting all this growth that's going on, but to create events that we can pull people in downtown. So events not only at the Expo Center, but we've got Muscle on Main, movie night, Main Street Live, Jenny Wiley Theater coming, and all that supporting with the new restaurants and the hotel. So downtown is going to forever change in what it was when I was growing up, which was a shopping hub, to become an entertainment and arts hub.
Arts Hub, and that's a perfect segue.
Perfect
segue to our guest today, Samantha Rogers, who is over the Artisan Center. Samantha, you have some great things going on. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you. We do have a lot of exciting events coming up in this year. We had several last year that were very successful, and we just look forward to what we're going to be working on this year.
Why don't you explain to the people who are watching who are not familiar exactly what the Artisan Center does?
Well, the Artisan Alliance puts together artistic events, whether they're music related. We've recently had an art contest, an art exhibit, which was successful. We had nearly 80 entries for that.
So that's so impressive.
Unbelievable.
And it was great because I believe there was a motocross or something at the expo.
Yes.
And so people were actually on their way to that event, and they were a little early, so they were coming into our art exhibit to kill some time and look around.
Right, and I'm so glad you said that, though, because that's another thing that the Expo Center does. When they come into town early, they're doing the restaurant thing. They're driving around to see what new retail opportunities we have. But the great thing is that they have to park downtown, so they're stopping by the Artisan Center, looking at all the wonderful displays you have there, and then going on to their venue, which it comes full circle for everyone involved for the growth and development of our city.
Right, exactly.
Well, and I'd be remiss is to say that Sam has some great partners as part of this project. So not only does it create economic opportunity from the standpoint of keeping people downtown longer, Jill, but again, it highlights, Sam's got a lot of, I watched, was it last week, the art exhibit, or the week before last? And I kept watching because Sam serves a dual role. She's also my administrative assistant. So as I was watching all these different kids coming in, carrying all this art in last week, seeing some of the talent in this area is just absolutely phenomenal. And to be able to showcase that through the Arts Center, there wouldn't have been a venue if it hadn't been for the Artisan Alliance stepping up and to not only showcase it, but to bring the arts and the culture to our community. And she's got these are, the board is made up of all volunteers. Nobody's paid. There's some great people on this board, Jill.
Thanks. Really?
Who are some of your board members, Sam?
Well, of course, we have Jill Fraley.
Oh, Jill's on the board.
Jill's on the board.
I joined about a month ago.
Yes.
Frank Dahlhair, Daryl Maynard, Jeff Vanderbeck with the News Express, Tim Smith, Petra Carroll, Drew Justice, Tony Tackett, Tony Mullins, and Judge Rutherford is actually on the board.
It's a good group of people, and I think the greatest thing about the board is that there are visions from every different arena that you could think of. We all have different ideas and different thoughts, and when you mesh those things together, you come up with wonderful projects for the Artisan Center.
Exactly.
And I think that this is, although it's rather new, it's something that will grow and grow and grow. And like you said, to showcase the talents of the people in our region, not just the kids, but adults as well, is really something nice to see when you walk down the street, you walk past the Artisan Center located on 2nd Street.
Located on 2nd Street.
And you can go in there and see everything, and it's just, it's a nice way to take a break and step back and really enjoy some fantastic art.
Exactly. And also, I'd like to mention that Stephanie Richards is on the board. I hate to leave anyone out, and
Right.
she does bring a great deal to the board.
Absolutely. Well, I'm very excited to have been asked to be on it. I'm excited about some new projects that we can't completely release. See, Donovan, I have like my own little thing that I can keep secret too. But some great projects that we have that I'm very excited about. And I keep asking Samantha, when can we talk about this? When can we talk about this? And she says, just hang on. But it's a great art project.
It is.
That's what we'll call it now.
An art project. That's
An art project.
A good term.
That's it. But it will be large and
You mean I
expansive.
can't coach you girls to release
No,
some of this
it's like a
information yet?
confidentiality agreement.
Oh,
You know,
man.
that's what it is.
Payback. That's what this is.
That is exactly right. You keep holding out on me for these retail stores, so we're going to hold out on this project. But what I can tell you is when Samantha called me and was talking about maybe being involved with the Artisan Center, she said, we've got this great project going on. Let me tell you a little bit about it. So my mind immediately started going in all these different directions because it is a similar project that other communities have done that has completely taken on a massive viewership, I will say, in other larger cities, and to have something like that, this art project that we're going to talk about, come to our area and to be able to see what our people are going to do is really an exciting time.
I think it's going to bring a great sense of pride to the citizens
That's
of Pike
exactly
County
what
and
it
Pikeville.
is. Now, for people that I mentioned this on 2nd Street, but are there hours that people can come by and view things? Is it open to the public on a regular basis, or is it just certain times?
Starting in the month of March, we're going to try to have it open from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. We do have some work study students, and I have a great intern that's working with us right now.
Right. Well, I think one of the good things is if you do it that time, spring, Donovan and I talked earlier about spring is here. We all have that spring fever, getting ready to start. But on your lunch break, you can go by there. If you go to one of our restaurants downtown, stop by the Artisan Center, take a walk through, and then be able to tell everybody else about it so we can get more traffic in there.
Yes, and actually March the 5th, we're going to have an art exhibit. It's going to be Tim Smith, who's one of our board members, a very talented local artist, and Tim Sizemore. Tim Smith recently had a show at the Big Sandy Community and Technical College in Prestonsburg.
Yeah.
So he's moving some of his work into our studio.
Very
And
exciting.
so that will be showcased during the month of March.
And I know, Donovan, you said that Samantha wears many hats, but I know that you are excited about the Artisan Center as well because, like we said, it just brings more traffic and notoriety to our downtown area.
Jill, absolutely. I've said this before, obviously to Sam and the group, and Frank Dahl, who is the chairman of the board, and before that, Daryl Maynard was. And back when I was working on the project development board, the project development board, unfortunately, part of what had to go was the Artisan Center on that block where the new judicial center is being built. So they're housed now in the Dahl Harris building, the old Dahl Harris building, which is now owned by the city of Pikeville. And I made a commitment then because realizing the importance of art and culture as part of our culture and how we needed to support that. So through their vision and their volunteerism and their hard work and all these things that they wanted to accomplish, the commission had a passion also. The commission passed a resolution naming the downtown an arts district. And then we worked with, as I said, Main Street on doing these activities on the Expo Plaza, which Sam has worked with them on, and they've had a lot of great events on the plaza, like the
Paint Pikeville Pink.
Pink.
Oh,
was
well,
a phenomenal event.
I was there, a part of that, and I will just tell you, I cannot wait for this year. I think it's one of the most wonderful events that I've ever seen, and to see the people that were there participating, everybody was there. I mean, it was so massive. I could not have imagined that it would have grown to what it was just this year in its first year.
Right.
But the pride that I had when I parked and turned the corner and saw all those people standing to wait to walk or run for breast cancer awareness and research, it just, if you've had anyone in your life that has dealt with cancer, any form of cancer, but specifically breast cancer, it just touches your heart and you want to be a part.
Absolutely.
It was a great cause. Yeah.
Who came to you with that project?
Kelly Thompson and Sandra May actually came
Yes.
and met with Minta Cheney and myself,
And they worked diligently, did they not?
they did a fantastic job.
Yeah, we had them come up to early mornings on the radio programs and talk about it, and they were so passionate about it. And I think when you see, it's infectious to see the passion that other people have for projects like that, like the Artisan Center, Paint Pikeville Pink, all the different things. You really want to become a part of that because you know it's going to go to a worthwhile cause.
Well, and it does, and it's very rewarding when, as you said a moment ago, when you see groups come out, whether it's art or whether it's an event or whether it's just to be a part of something.
Right.
But all that, I gave great kudos, Jill, to the board, because again, I'll say it again, these are all different walks of life in our community that have a passion, and that's what it is a passion for our community and the arts program. But you talked about the different hats that Sam wears, and I'll give her great kudos as well. Not only as my administrative assistant, but as the director of the Artisan Alliance. She has a great passion. She works tirelessly coming up with a lot of these ideals. It's tough. It's tough when you sit down with 10 board members, or however many that each board has, and try to bring a consensus amongst 10 great personalities. So, when you look at all these events that she has listeners she's talking about, it's tough to coordinate that all into creating a great event. And what I've seen time and time again through this board's vision and passion and through her direction and leadership is some phenomenal events and some really things that we can be very proud of. Do we have anything else going? I know you've talked about some things coming up in March. I didn't mean to.
Oh no!
To steal your thunder there, but I wanted to congratulate and to recognize good work when it's done, and there is a passion here. So
there is. Well, I certainly want to invite her back when we talk about the art project that we're going to reveal, and that should be pretty soon, actually.
Hopefully that will be revealed by the end of March.
The end of March. So we'll have Sam back so she can explain to us the art project and the different positions that people can take on the project, because like I said, I am so excited about it. It has been really hard for me to keep quiet about it, just especially in my field, because I want to talk about it. I want people to know about it, but it's going to be a wonderful, exciting time for our city.
What else do you want to talk about before we go? We're getting pretty close on time, I have a feeling,
we have
right?
just a few seconds left.
Well, first I'd like to thank the City of Pikeville, because they've really been so supportive of the Artisan Alliance. But we do have an art and crafts fair scheduled May 25th and 26th at the East Kentucky Expo Center.
Wonderful.
They've had a few of those in the past, and I think they were successful, and we're going to try to get that rejuvenated.
Well, now that's exciting. So that's coming up in May. So we have a big project at the end of March. We have this in May. There's an exhibit coming up soon. Now, how can people go? Can they go online to find out about different projects, or would it go through the city?
Either. Of course, you can reach me through the City of Pikeville. We do have a Facebook page, Artisan Alliance of Pikeville, Pike County, and we are currently working on a website that will hopefully be launched soon.
Well, perfect, and we'll talk about that coming up. Now, quickly, I'm going to run down the events going on at the Expo Center so everybody remembers. I have a list here. We have Impact World Wrestling Tour coming up March 10th. That's really quick. There you go. And we also have Eric Church. That's around Hillbilly Days, is it not?
Yes, it is.
21st.
I won't say it was planned that way, but Steve did a good job.
I'm just telling you, Steve knew exactly what to do. Eric Church, Brantley Gilbert, two of the biggest names in country music will be there, and Amen. I can't imagine there will be one ticket left. There's just a very few tickets left now for that, so I figure by that time it will be completely sold out. Then we have, just announced last week, Sugarland. They were here about 4 years ago, but now they're bigger than life. April 13th, they'll be coming here. And then the Drillers return on March 9th. We have the Road to Fame kickoff, which we talked about earlier. That will be, the first round will be on March 15th at the Expo Center. And then everything that you mentioned before. We have Muscle Lawn Magnet will come back. Movie night in the park. That's a huge, huge deal for the Pikeville City Park down there. And at Main Street Live, Jenny Wiley Theater. We're going to break ground next week on a hotel, Donovan. I mean, really, is there anything else that we can squeeze into this hour time frame?
Well,
with a minute left.
We're in trouble. If I start speaking, we will not hit that minute. I guarantee you, Jill.
Well, then
so
I'll
I'm
tell you
hush.
what. We'll make some notes for next time. Wonderful things going on in the city of Pikeville. Always a pleasure to be with you, Samantha. Thanks so much for joining us. Cannot wait to have you back to reveal some of those fantastic projects, and we'll do this again soon.
Jill, I greatly appreciate you. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, for Donovan Blackburn and Samantha Rogers, this has been the City Manager's Report. Thanks for joining us.